Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is Dr. Muhammad Altaf. I'm going to deliver my next online lecture. The topic of today's lecture is cryptography definitions and concepts. In this lecture, first we will discuss introduction of cryptography. After that, encryption and decryption will be discussed. After covering encryption and decryption, we will discuss different terminologies which are being used in field of cryptography. After completing the terminologies, we will discuss different services provided by the crypto systems. When data is stored on a computer, it is usually protected by logical and physical access controls. When the same sensitive information is sent over a network, it can no longer take these controls for granted. And the information is in a much vulnerable state. So we need to protect that information. Cryptography is a method for protecting information and communication through the use of codes so that only those for whom the information is intended can read and process it. Dear students, cryptography comes from the Greek two words, crypto and graphein, where cryptos mean hidden and graphein mean to write, is the process of making and using codes to secure the transmission of information. The field of cryptography is complex. It can fill many volumes. But these lectures which are regarding to the cryptography will provide only a general overview of cryptography and some specific information about cryptographic tools. In today's lecture, we will learn the background of cryptography as well as key concepts in cryptography and common cryptographic tools. In our next lectures, we will learn about common cryptographic algorithms. In this slide, we will explore the terms encryption and decryption. Dear students, encryption is a method of transforming readable data, which is called plain text, into a form that appears to be random and unreadable, which is called ciphertext. This enables the transmission of confidential information over insecure channels without unauthorized disclosure. While decryption is the process of converting the ciphertext message back into plain text using some decryption algorithm so that it can be readily understood. As you can see in the diagram, plain text is being converted to ciphertext by applying some encryption algorithms. Then we apply some decryption algorithms on the ciphertext to get the actual plain text. Dear students, nowadays many common IT tools use embedded encryption technologies to protect sensitive information within applications. For example, all the popular web browsers use built-in encryption features to enable secure e-commerce such as online banking and web shopping. Dear students, in this slide you can see the advantages of encrypted communication. First of all, it comes in our mind that why we need to encrypt the information. So here I will say that if a sender wants to send some data to some other persons on over a network, he or she must protect its data to reach to the destination. if the data is encrypted and is being captured by some third party called intruder, so the captured data will be useless for that intruder because he or she does not know how to decode the encrypted data. Without the right key, the captured data is useless for attacker. When the data will be received by the receiver, he or she will be known that which algorithm is being applied or which key will be used to decrypt the encoded data. After applying the decryption algorithm, the receiver will get the actual text, which is called plain text. Dear students, to understand the fundamentals of cryptography, we must know the meanings of the following terms which will be discussed in this slide. The first term which is being used in the cryptography is called cryptanalysis. Cryptanalysis is the process of obtaining the original message called plain text from an encrypted message, which we discussed as a ciphertext, without knowing the algorithm and keys used to perform the encryption. Algorithm. It is the set of rules, also known as cipher, dictates how enciphering and deciphering take place. The programmatic steps used to convert an unencrypted message into an encrypted sequence of bits that represents the message is called algorithm, and sometimes it refers to the programs that enable the cryptographic processes. The next term which will be discussed is crypto system. A system that provides encryption and decryption is known as crypto system and can be created through hardware components or program code in an application. The crypto system uses an encryption algorithm. Most algorithms are complex mathematical formulas that are applied in a specific sequence to the plain text. Dear students, the term plain text is already discussed. It is the original unencrypted message or a message that has been successfully decrypted. Ciphertext or crypto program is a encoded message resulting from an encryption code. The process of converting components like words or phrases of an unencrypted message into encrypted components is called ciphertext or crypto program. The next term is decipher. Decipher means to decrypt or decode or convert ciphertext into the equivalent plain text. This is called decipher, and the process is known as deciphering. And enciphering, as it names it, as it is clear from its name that it is the process. Yeah, if we will discuss the enciphering, so it is the process to encrypt, encode or convert the plain text into the equivalent ciphertext. This is called, the text will be known as encipher and the process is known as enciphering. Key or crypto variable is a value that comprises a large sequence of random bits, or in other words, the information used in conjunction with an algorithm to create the ciphertext from the plain text or derive the plain text from the ciphertext. Dear students, the key can be a series of bits used by a computer program, or it can be a passphrase used by humans that is then converted into a series of bits used by a computer program. Usually, the internal mechanisms of the algorithm are not a secret. It the internal mechanism is known to all. There is no secret in the internal mechanism. So the internal mechanism of the algorithm is clear as it is visible to the sender, and it is also visible and clear to the intruder. So the secret piece of using a well-known encryption algorithm is the key. Dear students, here I would refer the Kirchhoff statement about key. He stated that the only secrecy involved with the cryptography system would be the key. He claimed that the algorithm should be publicly known. He asserted that the security were based if the security were based on too many secrets, there would be more vulnerabilities to possibly exploit. So key plays a very important role during encryption and decryption. Now we will discuss another term, and that is key space. Key space. The entire range of values that can be used to construct an individual key is called key space. The larger the key space, the more available values can be used to represent different keys. And the more random the keys are used, it would be harder for the intruder to find out the exact key, or it would be harder to figure out them for an intruder. When the algorithm needs to generate a new key, it uses random values from the available key space. To make it clear that what is the role of key space, I'm going to give you an example. Dear students, if there is an algorithm and which is using only 2 bits key, so the key space for that algorithm would be 4, and the values of these keys may be 00, 01, 10 and 11, which indicates that the total number of different keys that would be possible. As there are only 4 possible combinations which can be used as a key in the algorithm, so it would be easy for the intruder to figure out them. And it would not take an attacker very long time to find the correct key. A large key space allows for more possible keys. Dear students, nowadays there are so many encryption algorithms which are being based on 128, 256, 512 or even 1024 bits and larger key sizes. Let's imagine if there is an algorithm which is based on a key of size 512 bits. So it would provide 2 raised to the power 512 possible combination, and which will give us a very large number. So the key space of that algorithm would be extremely large, and it would be very difficult, or it would give a tough time for the intruder to find out the exact key which is being used during the encryption. And the encryption algorithm should use the random values for a key. So if the encryption algorithm use the entire key space and choose the values to make the keys as randomly as possible, it would be considered as impossible nowadays to find out the exact key which is being used for encryption, and the communication would be considered as safe communication between sender and receiver. Dear students, in this table you can see what would be the effect if we increase the length of key. As you can see that if there is a key of 1 bit, the possible combinations would be 2. If there are 2-bit keys, if there is a 2-bit key, it will produce 4 possible combination which can be used as an key. As we increase the number of bits, the number of possible keys would be increased. As you can see in the table, the algorithms based on a key size of more than 100 would be considered as strong encryption algorithms because it would produce more number of combinations for a key. Link encryption. Link encryption is a series of encryptions and decryptions between a number of systems whereas each system in a network decrypts the received message and then re-encrypts it using different keys and send it to the next neighbor, and this process continues until the message reaches to the final destination. Dear students, link encryption is being carried out in a communication when multi-hops are involved. Another term which is being used in cryptography is known as steganography. Steganography is the hiding of message, for example, within the digital encoding of a picture or graphic. Dear students, steganography is a method of hiding data in another media type, so the very existence of the data is concealed. Only the sender and receivers are supposed to be able to see the message because it is secretly hidden in a graphic file, or it may be a WAV file, or it may be a document, or it may be any other type of media. In steganography, the actual data is not encrypted, it is just hidden. The last but not the least terminology of cryptography is going to be discussed in this slide, and that is work factor. Dear students, work factor can be considered as the amount of efforts, usually in hours, required to perform cryptanalysis to decode and encrypt message when the key or algorithm or sometimes both are unknown. In short, it is an estimate of the efforts and resources it would take an attacker to penetrate a crypto system. Strength of an encryption method comes from the algorithm, the secrecy of the key, the length of the key, the initialization vector, and how they all work together within the crypto system. When strength is discussed in encryption, it refers to how hard it is to figure out the algorithm or key, whichever is not made public. The strength of encryption algorithm correlates to the amount of necessary processing power, resources, and time required to break the crypto system or to figure out the values of the key. Breaking a crypto system can be accomplished by a brute force attack, which means trying every possible key value until the resulting plain text is meaningful. Dear students, depending on the algorithm and length of the key, this can be an easy task or one that is close to impossible. Goal of designing an encryption algorithm is to make it too expensive or too time consuming to be compromised by an intruder. Services of crypto systems include confidentiality, integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation. Confidentiality refers to the information unintelligible except by authorized entities. Military and intelligence agencies are very concerned about keeping information confidential. So they would choose encryption mechanisms that provide a high degree of secrecy or confidentiality. While the integrity refers to that the data has not been altered in an unauthorized manner since it was created, transmitted or stored. So, financial institutions care about confidentiality, but they also care about the integrity of the data being transmitted. So, the encryption mechanism they would choose may differ from the military encryption methods. If messages were accepted that had a misplaced decimal point or a zero, the ramifications could be far-reaching in the financial world. So, they would prefer to use an encryption algorithm that provide confidentiality as well as integrity. Authentication verifies the identity of the user or system that created information. The legal agency may care most about the authenticity of the message than confidentiality and integrity. If information received ever needed to be presented in a court of law, its authenticity would certainly be questioned. Therefore, the encryption method used must ensure authenticity, which confirms who sent the information. Dear students, non-repudiation ensures that the sender cannot deny sending the message. And obviously, this type of service would be demand of all fields of life. So the encryption algorithm being used by any field of light must provide non-repudiations. Now I would summarize all these services by a simple example. Let's say we have a boss in a company and he sent a message to his employee in which he tells him that he will be receiving a raise of salary that would double his salary. Now, when the message is encrypted and sent to the employee, what does it mean? It means authenticity is provided by the boss. The message is being sent by the boss. Someone did not alter it before it arrived at his computer, at the computers of employee. What is this? The service of integrity is being provided. No one else was able to read it as it traveled over the network. So confidentiality is provided. The boss cannot deny sending it later when he comes to his sense. So it means non-repudiation is provided. Dear students, this was all about cryptography definitions and concepts. If you have any question or any query, put it in the KCMS. I will try my level best to answer your queries or questions. Thank you. Have a nice day. Allah Hafiz.